If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Hilarie Rose joining us on the show. She picked up her 4th consecutive win at CES 57 on Friday night. She defeated Kiana Rain via first-round rear naked choke and hopes to parlay that victory into a big opportunity in October. Yes. Hilarie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling really great. Super excited about my fight. Was a quick finish, and that's what I aimed for and wanted to happen. So it's funny how fast fights come and go. So I anticipated so much, and then now it's over. And I'm like, now what am I going to do with myself?
What did you do with yourself? I mean, obviously you trained very hard to get ready for potentially 15 minutes of fighting, and then it's over in the first round. How do you dump that extra adrenaline?
Well, the next day, I wasn't injured in the fight at all. So I got up the next day, and then I went to Lausanne team training and trained with everybody there. So I had no injury. I got up. I went to team training, which I would normally do every Saturday, and I just trained alongside all those badass people down there. So it was cool to mix it up and feel like I didn't even fight the day before. So I just kept with the momentum.
All right, so like you said, it was a great performance, dominant win. You finished the fight very impressively. How does it all feel 5 days later?
It feels good. Just keeping with the momentum and just right back in the gym. You know, I have some real big goals I'd like to obtain this year, so I'm just kind of going with the flow. I didn't have any injuries, so being injury free, I can, head right back into the gym and just kind of stay focused on, the goals at hand in the future. So
as a rite of passage on the program, I love to hear these stories about how it all began for you guys and gals, because, it's not becoming a doctor or a lawyer or, a Major League Baseball player. For me, I wanted to be a game show host, and now I'm here talking to you. But this is MMA. Like this is cage fighting. When you're locked in a cage with another human being, that's trying to hurt you and vice versa. So how did you come to the realization and the decision that you wanted to be a fighter?
I started here at US MMA when I was 14 years old, and I trained, strictly Muay Thai for about 5 years until I decided to hop into jiu-jitsu, and I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. It was something I was kind of afraid to start. I think it was the whole grappling, with other people and being body to body, but I got over that really fast. And then after I started grappling and putting it together and training, my coaches asked me if it was something I'd be interested in doing. And my first amateur MMA fight, I won by head kick knockout. So when I won that fight, I think that was kind of where I was like, you know what? I think this is what I want to do. This is really fun. I really enjoy doing it. And, my amateur career, I had some ups and downs. I won some and, I lost some. So it gave me kind of, I was able to be humbled and, I won't always win by head kick knockout. And I think just it was something that I found that I was really good at and I really wanted to dedicate myself to. I take fighting really seriously and breaking it down mentally and the footwork and all of that. It's not just like a hobby to me. It's my full-time life. So I train here. I teach here. I've been here since I was 14 and haven't left. So it just kind of became my life. And I believe that I could be really, really great, and I will get to that point in my life eventually.
You talk about the ups and downs you had as an amateur. Obviously, you're doing quite well right now. 4-fight winning streak. You had a big win on Friday night. When I talk to fighters, I feel like a lot of them. I mean, not all of us are John Jones who goes in there and just wipes everybody out. But with those ups and downs, eventually there comes a moment where it all just clicks. Like it all just comes together, and you feel like, all right, like now I have this. Do you remember when that happened for you?
When I think that happened for me was my last amateur MMA fight. I fought for a title in New England Fights, and I was able to just feel the pace very comfortably in my distance. And I think after that fight, I felt like I could be aware in the cage. My biggest thing as an amateur was I felt very unaware. It felt like tunnel vision, like, and I couldn't hear anything. And I was just kind of reacting with my body. But that last fight before I went pro, even though I lost my pro debut, that amateur fight I realized I was very aware. I could hear my corners. I could feel and use my body in the right way, whereas, like I said earlier in my amateur career, I was just kind of reacting. I was just kind of going with the flow. And I wasn't, listening to my corner. I wasn't being aware. I was just kind of going with the momentum. And now after that last amateur fight, I kind of was able to click and be like, all right, now I can throw my hands, now I can grapple, now I can get up, I can get down. Obviously it's not as easy as I say that, but that fight definitely kind of clicked for me. Even though I lost that pro debut, I still felt kind of aware and pretty good in that fight, other than, losing and getting, TKO'd. I still felt aware, and I think awareness was my biggest thing I was lacking as an amateur. And now as a pro, I'm very aware. I feel I can pick my distance and my momentum much better.
We talked about this current streak that you're on, and I know, being a fellow Massachusetts native, you probably have your calendar marked for October 18th, a rare Friday night event for the UFC as they return to the historic Garden. Is it fair to say that is an opportunity that you are looking to get, that you would like to get on that card?
I absolutely would like to get on that card. I mean, I won't get my hopes too high because, I don't want to have high expectations for something that may not happen. The UFC may call me tomorrow. The UFC may call me in 6 months. They could call me in a year. So it's just kind of keep training, staying ready. And, if I get that opportunity to make my UFC debut in Boston, I don't think I could ask for anything better. So I'm still hoping, and I'm still, hoping that maybe I'll get a call, but I'll take anything. Send me to Brazil, send me to China. I don't care. I'll go wherever they want to send me.
What would that mean to you to get that call to fight in the Garden, with all the Celtics and Bruins banners hanging in the rafters, the amazing moments that have happened in that building, being in a UFC octagon to kind of add the cherry to the proverbial sundae? What would that all mean to you?
It would mean so much to me. I think that if I get the call that I was going to fight in Boston, I'd probably sob for like a day. I'd be so excited, and, I'd want to tell everybody. I'd literally get goosebumps thinking about it. Even just if I didn't get on that card, knowing a lot of these New England savages that I get to train with all the time would be on that card, and I'd be able to be there. But being able to step out, walking out, knowing that my friends and family are nearby and able to make that UFC debut would be, it would just be incredible and such an amazing feeling. And, you never know.
I love the UFC strawweight division. It's one of the most exciting divisions in the sport right now. It's so great. Like that division never lets you down. There's no fight that ever really lets you down.
Girls always want to put on a fight, no matter what.
Do you look at, obviously you just came off a fight on Friday, but do you look at the fighters in that division? Do you see yourself matching up? And if so, how do you see yourself matching up with the fighters in that division, which is, like we talked about, one of my favorites in the sport right now?
I watch the strawweight division, because it's my division. I like to follow those girls. I like to see how they move and, their different grappling and their striking. And, I think that, my ability is maybe not, top 10, but I think that I could hang there pretty well with, top 15 and, as long as I believe in myself and I go out there with the skills that I have and that my coaches have, engraved into me, and I believe in myself, that I could go out there and I could put on a show and I could beat some of those girls. And I think that's the mindset that I have to have. I have to believe that I'm just as good as they are and that my place is also there in the UFC.
I know that card is a couple of months away, like 11 weeks or so as we're talking right now. But, CES is having an event on September 7th, and it could be another opportunity for you to showcase your skill and showcase your game. Does that interest you at all, like fighting on that card, making one more impression?
No interest at all. My goals for the next few months are to just stay busy and to grind out and get better and hope that I get that call. And if I don't get a call by the end of the year, I'll probably think about getting another local fight and, doing whatever. But right now the goal is to just enhance the skills that I have. And, if the timing is right and a fight comes up and the right fight is there, then maybe I'll take it. But I'm hoping that the UFC is going to call. And with all the right people and the right, communication and the right skill, I believe that it will happen.
Being in the broadcasting world for the last several years, I've always been taught, and one of the lessons I've learned is that anyone at any given time could be watching or listening right now. So with that being said, 100%. What do you want to say to the UFC matchmakers, to Dana White, should they be watching this right now?
What I would say to them is, life is all about taking chances and, take a chance on me. I am active strawweight. I'm on a four-fight win streak, and I know that I can go there, show up, and put on a performance, whether it's, someone who has, only 5 fights like myself, or someone who maybe is like 13-4. I think that I'd be able to show up, put on a good performance, and, you know, impress them with the skills that I have. I'm a very well-rounded fighter. I don't believe that I'm good at just one thing. I believe that I am a mixed martial artist, and that's, you know, a really big thing to have. I don't think I'm just good at jiu-jitsu, or that I just wrestle, or that I just strike. You know, I like to clinch, I like to strike, I like to grapple. So being a well-rounded fighter is just so important right now, and I think that I offer that, and I think the UFC could use somebody like me.
Hilarie Rose joining us on the program, coming up for a big win. First round submission, rear naked choke at CES 57 on Friday night. And let's get her booked on this card. I mean, she's a native.
Yeah,
she'll sell some tickets.
Let's
get her there. Let's take that chance.
Yeah.
Why not? Before we let you go, Hilarie, let the folks know where they can find and follow you on this journey with MMA via social media. Any shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest, the floor is yours.
You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm trying to get better at Twitter. I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying. Shout out to my team, US MMA, Tom Hafers, Matt Martin. They have had my back since very, very beginning, always believed in me, even when I was just 14 years old. I'm 26 now, so they've watched me from, you know, a young teen to the woman that I am now. Shout out to Joe Lozon MMA. You know, Joe has had my back as well for the last few camps. He's allowed me to go down there and train, and I've really benefited from that. And I've met some amazing, you know, men and women there who train. You know, it's insane to surround yourself with people who have the same goal. Shout out to my sponsors, Parker's Pub, Vivalaqua Homes,